Hello YouTube, Waterwolves Gaming here. Let me introduce myself. Is Waterwolves Gaming. So, never done one of these type of videos before, but I decided to do so. This is a review video, by the way, about the new about new upcoming updates, but it's within the development status as of video's name here, SCP roleplay development status. So, now I must say I'm not the type of YouTuber to only focus on SCP-oriented games, but I do need to play more SCP roleplay games like maybe SCP Site Roleplay, and maybe SCP Containment Breach on Roblox. Now, yeah, I mainly post just generally about Roblox stuff, and this is my first ever review video, like in my entire life, of anything. So this is gonna just be based off of the roleplay status. So I watched this earlier some time ago, like yesterday. So I'm going to watch it again because I just want to, jump on it and try to do a review video before everybody else does, because I usually don't do it. So I need more main videos. So this is what I'm trying to do as well. So
Hi everyone. It's been some time since we've last shared a development update with you in regards to SCP Roleplay's roadmap. In June, we released the medical update. It contained mostly quality of life additions and changes primarily targeting the medical department. Since its release, the medical department has seen a massive increase in players and interactions, which have led to an increased presence of the roleplay element within the game. While this increase of roleplay presence was part of the goal, we also set up some groundwork for what is needed for the future research update. With the increased presence of the medical department and tooling available within the medical sector, SCP Roleplay has now effectively gained the gameplay loop in public servers that was necessary for continuous testing involving different machinery in the research update. That being said, it is possible to implement new biohazard SCPs, considering that the testing equipment and treatment options for them are now available. Additionally, a very big but often silent part of every update's development is game health, especially, as of recently, new user experience. It is no secret that compared to most experiences on the platform, SCP Roleplay is often more complex and difficult to understand and progress in. As such, a decent amount of the development time as of recently was put into updating that component of SCP Roleplay, implementing important reworks into the tutorial system, performance, and gameplay intuitiveness. This is something that is not seen or experienced by players who have already progressed beyond the first keycard level, but it has a big impact on the long-term health of the game. We believe that we are halfway into the changes that are needed in this topic, and we will be implementing the remaining half as part of the custom servers update. The research update is going to be a very big update, therefore likely taking a good amount of time to complete. It is something that we do not want to rush, as it will have to be near perfect upon release, considering the amount of changes and additions. With all this being said, we are working on the next update, which will be the custom servers update. We will be implementing all the remaining quality of life and new user experience changes we wanted to make in this update, while also adding a bunch of new features for custom servers, some of which will likely have a big impact. For the sake of transparency, we'd like to share some of these changes with you so that you can know what we are working on and get somewhat an idea of how it can impact the game. We will be changing the post-tutorial experience to feature a contextually dynamic task system, which will help point new players to the action while simultaneously allowing them to learn about the tasks they should be doing. We will be implementing an in-game newsletter system so that we can share development updates with you directly whenever you'd like to see them, even if you're not checking social media. We will be upgrading the update them so that you can be aware of upcoming updates long before they are only 5 minutes till they drop. There are many more quality of life changes and additions. You'll be able to see what these changes are when the update is out. On the custom server side of things, the goal is to extend the amount of customization you can do in your custom servers, allowing you to create bigger and better easily, all within SCP Roleplay directly. With that being said, one such major feature that will be worked on are server add-ons. Server add-ons is a system that allows you to script, which means you'll be able to effectively create anything you'd like within your custom server. Effectively, even SCPs at some point. This is, of course, a very big technical challenge. There is a lot of complexity to a system like this, and with that in mind, it is going to be implemented in 2 phases. In the custom servers update, server add-ons phase 1 will be implemented. Phase 1 will allow you to create custom interactions. This means you can make something happen when you interact with some part by using the interaction system, pressing E or the door button. Customize part names. You can change the part's name directly within F3X, which is important for scripting. Run scripts. Very sandboxed, of course, but nonetheless a script. There will be a documentation provided for this, including SCP roleplay functions that can be used and possibly expanded upon in the future. Custom humanoids. Essentially, you'll be able to load a default Roblox rig, modify it with F3X, and save it as a template, which you can then load or run the morph command with. There will be more features for custom servers within the update, but we expect server add-ons to be the biggest game changer. We cannot wait to see what all of you will be able to create with such a powerful feature. Phase 2 will contain support for visual scripting, so that you can create add-ons even if you do not know how to script, as well as support for complex humanoids that you will be able to import by running a script in Studio. We would also like to add animation support by running a script in Studio, but this is something that will need to be investigated. There is no expected date range for Phase 2 as of yet, but Phase 1 will be coming in the custom servers update. This is all, of course, subject to change at any time. The research update is going to be a very big update that has the goal of ensuring that every SCP has a lot of interactability and testing options, to add a lot more replayability to testing. There will be, of course, more additions in this update, and due to the scale, it will likely take some time till it's done. For example, we would like to add more infectious SCPs for the biohazard subsector, which will include an all-new monorail system to facilitate transfer between the medical sector and the biohazard SCPs. We would also like to add a new popular SCP that a lot of you have been waiting for a long time. We are continuing the work on improving all teams and gameplay options to make them all as replayable and in-depth as possible. And on this topic, a word on the internal security department. Currently, a lot of people argue that ISD is somewhat underwhelming, being a team that is not as played as other teams. Some people might ask, why not make rogues only visible to ISD? The reason is that, well, the rogue system was primarily designed to combat anti-roleplay practices that break the rules. ISD can counter these more easily with their increased visibility, and that matches the goal of ISD, but is not the primary task. In order to add a new important task that makes ISD's job and tools, such as camera markers and checkpoints, more useful, we will be adding a new Chaos Insurgency subclass that only ISD can find: Infiltrators. There can only be an amount of up to 20% of the CI team cap players as infiltrators in CI at any given time. They enter the facility as scientific department or medical department members and cannot equip any weapons. Infiltrators are given tasks that contribute to the Chaos Insurgency objective system, such as stealing intel and delivering it in other locations. The Internal Security Department can find these infiltrators by using the Authorize tool on players, making their presence in checkpoints much more important and rewarding. Once an infiltrator has reached their target delivery location with the goods, they will automatically be marked as rogue and initiate a countdown, similarly to how SCP captures work. With all these ideas and content, these updates might take some time to be completed. This all also means that the administrative update, despite how cool it is, will likely only be worked on after the research update. The administrative update's goal is to improve the administrative department and the O5 Council's experience in regards to site management. The way we see it, the administrative update can bring a lot of life to each server by making them more unique, but it would not contribute more than the changes we've outlined previously, and the research update would. Despite the 5 years of SCP roleplay, we're still a growing community with a lot more content to come up with in the future. See you all, hopefully soon, for the custom servers update.
Now, I am particularly hyped for this update in regards especially to what they just stated in this order here. Now, I don't have Discord, so I can't really see what they are trying to tell the community, but that newsletter update that they mentioned earlier sounds like the ideal thing to do, so every player won't have to, get, onto their Discord to have to figure it out. But I love this. I love this a lot. So first, as you see, it's going to be the custom server update, then the research update, then the administrative update. I didn't know about the administrative update too much. Like, I knew about it because somebody else reviewed it. Yeah, so that's how I knew about that. So this sounds pretty nice. I'm gonna go back a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning. What I should do is I should join that team and just like do a little tutorial on that, because I only did like one tutorial on like SCP roleplay, and that was like the O5 Council, but that was in like early 2025 or late 2024. But that was before the update completely, like before it. Like, but it's still a good video to check out. But that's, what I did. So considering the medical update, after they did that, then they're going to move on to the custom servers update. So they mentioned that they were going to probably add some biohazard SCPs or increase the medical sector or the size of the research as well. But this sounds particularly exciting. Like, what do you think they could be adding? Like, maybe another... Well, they said more biohazard SCPs. Maybe it's a maybe. But if they do move on it, I want to hear your opinions on what they might do about it. Like, what they might add to the biohazard zone. Also, the monorail system that they had spoke about sounds particularly exciting. So this right here, I am astonished. Imagine going into the medical sector as an MD and have a cure for something, and I wonder if you could bring test subjects on there, or it could just be like a broader system network within the site if they wanted to expand it, and then it could be more of a rapid transportation or more of a desirable way to walk around, or not walk around, but travel around the site, because people get annoyed with having to walk around or having to do anything that's like related to having to control your player often. But doing this will just make it way much more easier to access some other sites. So like that's also something that could be done. Moving on. Now, right here with the Infiltrators update. Now, I don't know how hyped y'all are about it, but I'm pretty hyped. Honestly, I am. Imagine going into a site and you're as a scientist. And now, it sounded boring the way they described it. Like, no combat. You can't assassinate nobody. It's not like off of a Squid Games game on Roblox, where you can be a detective and infiltrate and all this other stuff. But that sounds like a pretty nice sub team, honestly. It does. It sounds like a really good sub team. 20% of players, that sounds reasonable. I remember when they added the cap to the Chaos Insurgency. Imagine like unlimited infiltrators. Like, really? Like, come on. You would need to do a lot. Like a lot to get that under control. So them adding this cap, they can put that to work. So that works as well. Maybe in the future they can add combat or anything like that. I don't think they would. Like they said, they're just trying to combat people who are attempting to break the rules as a team member. Now, me personally, I feel like it's just more realistic to, breach the SCP. I feel like it's realistic to just get rid of that system and just allow us to breach the SCPs without having to worry about breaking the rules or we can't fight. Because back then, if you broke the rules, I remember vaguely, I don't think this was true. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. You can correct me if you want. Back then, you can fight back. Now you can't. If you go on rogue, you can actually shoot at other members of the Foundation and kill them off, so they won't get in your way. I don't know what that was about. Maybe it was a bug. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was actually intentional. But I liked it that. I honestly felt like that was a fine addition to the game. Me personally. Maybe to you, it may feel like, yeah, remove that type of system. So because this shouldn't be allowed, and it should only be the Chaos Insurgency infiltrating and breaching SCPs only. But it also brings me back to SCP Containment Breach, which, if you don't know the lore too much, Dr. Reynard, or I forgot his name, maybe that's right. Dr. Reynard was an infiltrator from the Chaos Insurgency who breached the modular site in the game. So So it just makes sense to me, like they would add infiltrators or a game, or not a game, but a sub team to any type of infiltrator team, like the counterinsurgency or breach. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Any type of sub team where they can just infiltrate, be a false member of the Foundation and secretly breach SCPs and cause chaos, like Dr. Reynard, for example. Like that sounds appealing. It genuinely does. So I just wanted to cover that as well. So going back, they're talking about the custom servers update. Now, I don't usually go on my own private server or custom servers. I like the regular roleplay servers because personally I feel that they are nicer and they are more appealing, because genuinely I just don't feel like going through the whole process of trying to build this or build that. But I'm glad they're adding these more things for people who do enjoy server related things, and that just makes it more cool for those who like to enjoy or have more additions, especially I'm gonna let you read this, visual scripting. So that's really nice to me. On top of that, animation support sounds nice. It sounds really nice. Now, if they add, things like more different types of animations, I mean, maybe for SCPs, maybe for them. Let me go up a little bit further. They mentioned adding SCPs. Very brief. My goodness, it's very brief. All right, maybe I can't do it. Oh, hold on. I thought I could. Hold on for a second. It says it right here. So, like they said, the research update is going to be a very big update that has the goal of ensuring that every SCP has a lot of interactability and testing options. Now, when they say testing options, I believe they mean like interactability. Well, same thing. It's self-explanatory, I guess. Well, basically, what it sounds to me like is that they're going to add more ways of testing SCPs, and more or less, what's the word for it? Less difficult to test when you're dealing with an unruly Class D per se. Maybe, like last time, where if you paid attention enough, you can't get out. If you're a Class D, you can't get out when they're initiating a test. You have to stay in there and do the test. And, they gave the guards the ability that if the scientist did die from a Chaos Insurgency member, they can take the Class D and, put them under authorization and bring them back to the Class D cells without them having to shoot them on the spot. Because that was annoying. That was genuinely annoying before they did the update. You got shot or killed or whatever if, you went and your scientist was shot by the CI. Like, really? So I'm glad they are adding more options. Now, that option thing, going back to that, it sounds like they may add more things for the tablet, or add more interfaces, or anything, more buttons to the containment chambers and stuff that only scientists can operate. Just genuinely a lot of stuff. And to a lot more replayability, I'm reading off the thing, to testing, there will be, of course, more additions in this update, and due to the scale, it will likely take some time till it's done. Now, one more thing, just to advise, no matter how long this take, I believe that the developers should take their time, give them rest, they're humans too, because, it doesn't make sense to make them, expect it to be done like tomorrow. Nah. You see, every single update that they have gave so far that I know, that I've been on SCP Roleplay for my 4 or 5 years, I understood that, it took some time to do these updates, and it, required patience. So I'm patient, and I'm waiting, and I want them to take as much time as they need to. If they need to delay it or anything like that, I am all for it, as long as the update remains as it remains. Where they can add more, just get rid of the bugs, They take their time out to do that. So that's something. Moving on. So this go back to the time when I was talking about the monorail system and all that stuff. And, between and transport between the medical sector and the biohazard SCPs. Like I said, it's possible. It's maybe not. I don't know. Y'all can correct me if y'all figure anything out on Discord, but it's possible that they can add this monorail system for anybody in general. Like, it could genuinely be that. It could be where instead of just only for the biohazard and the medical, it can just be a way of transport throughout different sectors of the site. Like, for Sector 1, you can have a monorail system for there. Like, seen in the picture, right here, you have the monorail system for in sector near the Class D cells. And it looks like a very big monorail system. It looks like a very big subway system, etc. And I'm very excited for that. I'm really excited for that, honestly. So these are going to just be it's going to be a lot of different, a long list of different things that they're going to add in these series of updates. The administrative update, I honestly don't know more about, but they have emphasized is going to be genuinely around managing the site. Now, I'm particularly more excited for the administrative update than I am about this update right here. Because I own the O5, council team. I own I'm a highest level on, well, I'm not going to say the highest because there's such thing as, if you remember, prestige. So, I am, at least me personally, I feel like I'm at the highest level for the title on the game. Not necessarily on prestige, but on the title. But I am the highest, and I feel like whatever they add will, be helpful to, managing the site. Because I do feel like the administrative department should have a little bit more room at managing the site, as well as the O5 council. If they only have one vote, if you're on the administrative department, but not on the O5 team, and the O5s get 2 more votes, then, by all means, do that. So, move on to a few other things. They said dynamic task system and in-game newsletter, and update countdown rework. All these sound great. These sounds like regular UI interface updates that should be added for players who are on mobile or on computer, or those who don't have access to or outside game, Discord or any other website where you can figure out these type of updates, or by third-party services or third-party channels like SCP roleplay, YouTubers, you know what I'm saying. So the dynamic task system, like they mentioned, we'll be upgrading the update countdown system so that you will be aware of upcoming updates long before there are only 5 minutes till they drop. That's cool. Thank you very much. I'm going to go back a little bit further. Dynamic task system is what I wanted to be going to. Now, this is a little bit blurry here, but basically, we will be changing the most tutorial, post-tutorial experience to feature a contextually dynamic task system, which will help point new players to the action while simultaneously allowing them to learn about the tasks they should be doing. Particularly exciting to me. I mean, for new players, they should be able to do the tutorial and not have to worry about it being so dang difficult for them to even have to, move on it. Because new players may or may not understand the lore behind it, or may not understand the lore behind the game. Now, in the settings, there is the option to allow tips. I have that off since I've been playing, the game for 5 years. But, maybe 4 years, 3 years, I don't care. I don't advise you to challenge me on that. Please don't. But for that long matter, So that seems pretty cool about dynamic tasks, how they will allow them to learn about the tasks they should be doing. That is pretty cool. So if they say go to the CDC, they'll probably have a brief description of why you should go to the CDC. Or if they tell you, I'm speaking from the security department team, because in the screen here you see it's a security department member, but maybe it's likely that it could be on the level of them describing the task, like what they say here, and contextually, which means it should be by text. So it could be a brief description, like I said, for each of them. That would be pretty cool. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm gonna go back here. I'm not gonna be rambling forever. So just genuinely a lot. Let me know if I missed anything that I didn't cover. But like they said here, game development and the health of the game. Now, in my opinion, I feel like the game has been doing well. It's up to the developers of what they want to add or what they want to remove or what they want to do, right? As the audience of the game and as the players of the game that play the game and support it, because if you play it, you automatically support it, so that is important. So SCP roleplay, like they say here, is often more complex and difficult to understand and progress in. Now, this links up to the dynamic task system and the update to help new players around systems like that. So that sounds nice. I keep saying that, don't I? I just say that, this, that, the other.